Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Justice Watchag here with another episode. I know that I'm slow to make these videos because there's so much going on. I'm putting my life together and living in this chaotic world that's coming undone. I'm literally watching the world come undone before my very eyes. A lot of the things that I was taught and told about and warned about are actually happening. And I put this on the screen about the oligarchy, which means a small group of people having control over a country, or institution, or organization. I know I read that a little bit backwards, but in our case, it's billionaires that have our best interests at heart, right? Absolutely not. And both sides of the wing, don't get, it's not Republican versus Democrat. They both work together. They're all on the same team. And this was an agenda and a plan many years in the make. I don't know if any of you all are aware of this Project 2025. But it's this very big agenda and policy, and it's laid out. I've seen some YouTubers writing about that. But I also wanted to talk about this plane crash that happened today in Toronto. A crash, and I don't know where they were coming from. They were coming from somewhere in America, but it crash landed in Toronto, and nobody died. Everyone got out. I think there are 8 injuries. People had to be hospitalized. You can see the images on the screen here. It's very dramatic. It was fire too. I think the fire was coming out the tail end. That's not it. This one right here isn't it. Fire coming out the tail end. Let's see if we can get some information where they were coming from. I believe it was somewhere in the Midwest. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly. But I know it crash landed in Toronto at Delta Airlines. I always told that Delta is a good just on a side note, not that that has anything to do with today. Oh, it was coming from Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport, and it's flight 4819. Oh, a bunch of ads popped up. But yeah, very sad and horrific. Can you imagine when this thing crash landed, the people were upside down? The drama and the horrificness and just the feeling of your life flashing before your eyes and all that. But they were able to exit the plane, run for their life. So we'll hear more about this, but it's very suspicious, all these flight catastrophes happening back to back. I knew this was coming because I know the FAA is going to come undone. It's going to be dismantled. Flight and travel as we know it is coming undone. It's not because of the planes. It's not because of human error. It was an agenda and a plan that this system, the cults behind the scene, they had an agenda and a plan for how humanity in the world is going to look. The U.S. is going to become third world. They're dismantling that. They want it to be because of this conservative, these characters that they put, these puppets they put out. I mean, it's not just that. And you know how the far left went extreme, like with trans and kids and all that. I mean, crazy mess that any reasonable adult would be against. And it's not even about being left wing or right wing or believing that government should be your mom and dad and help you, or believing that government should be small and believing in freedom, not caring about freedom, thinking that government is a managed society works best. Like nonsense. Both things are evil and wrong. I don't think, me personally, I think any authority is going to be corrupt. I don't think there's anything, unless unless it's a small commune of a group of, even families working together for the greater good of their children. Even if you had like a little village and everybody had kids and families and they were working together and they had a village school and a village police force they voted on things that they wanted to make collective decisions and they took care of everything. And even in that condition, with everybody perfect, nobody's crazed, nobody's sick, people that's sick get taken care of, people that's criminals get banished from the society, incarcerated, or whatever it is. Even if you drew up an ideal society from the ground up, there would be corruption. It'd be somebody that would be deceitful. It's somebody that want to take advantage of others, somebody that's a psychopath, somebody that's just an idiot and won't do their share of work. It's like that across the board. And I know people will jump up and say, well, certain places, if they didn't have the migrants and the this and that, they'd be perfect. Even those places ain't perfect. They got crazy ones too. But they wouldn't be as bad as they are, but they wouldn't be perfect. I'll say it like that. And I know it's like I'm saying it and putting this man with a Heil Hitler salute. He's a white South African running our government. It's not just him. He's a puppet too. They can ruin him too, but he's fits in with the agenda. We're moving into a technocracy. They're going to say people can't be trusted to do things right. Look at the pilot. He landed it upside down. Look at the DCA crash. The crash of the DCA is the airport title for Reagan. The plane and the helicopter crashed into each other. Human beings can't be trusted. They had one air traffic controller operating the helicopters and the planes, and they screwed up. So people can't be trusted. So the thing that's going to work is AI and automation and AI technology to take over some of the jobs that humans have had. And it's not going to make things worse. It'll make things better. We'll be more prosperous. You have more time for your families. Life gets better. And there's truth in that, but in that is a lie as well. They're making up the catastrophes, making up the problems, and then they're going to bring a solution. That's this MO. There was an Agenda 2020, and I don't hear any talk about that anymore. I think I might be saying it wrong, too. Forgive me if I'm not calling it the right thing. I might be saying Agenda 21. Or was it? I thought there was an Agenda 2020 about the redevelopment and the smart growth cities and all that. This may not be it. This is not it. This isn't what I'm talking about. But you know about the smart growth and smart cities. Well, in New York City in downtown, you have to pay some kind of fine or fee or tax in order to drive in downtown, and it's reduced the traffic in downtown. And then I think London has that too, in other cities, and they're putting this under the guise of CO carbon emissions and not polluting the earth and this and that. And these are dictates or fiats from these globalists that these people don't give a damn about the earth, by the way, just on a side note. And we know that by their behaviors. To believe that the same entity that's polluted everything, that pushed all these industries and all that, and that they're going to be the ones that's going to clean up the environment, make things better for everybody. You got to be out of your mind if you believe that. Not to say that I want everybody on planet Earth all over the third world to be pumping gas, but I think humanity should be free and make a choice. If human beings in a population, they don't want to drive in their city, let them vote and choose what they want to do. Or maybe people will choose on their own without having authority dictate for them. You know what? It's crowded in New York City. I don't want to drive a car. I don't want to be in traffic. I'll walk. Or I won't live in New York at all. I have so many choices and live in such a prosperous environment. I can live in the countryside. We got automation. I can do my work from home. I can do my sales calls from home. I don't have to drive in and out. Give people a choice. You want to be in the city driving around in traffic and risk your life? That's your business, not mine, not government, for God's sake. They created the problems. They're not the solutions. But that's where we go. That's why I don't like to talk. See how hype I got? I got hyped on that. They want to get rid of that. Oh, this whole thing, the scheme with the Medicare, Medicaid, in case you all don't know, they've had an agenda for having socialized medicine this is like since before the Clintons, since before that, and that didn't get the popular support that they want. They want the people to demand it. They want the people to want it. They want everybody, their mob, to get on board with it. And this man is good with stirring up the mob. If you all remember, he's always been a Democrat. He gets along with all those people behind the scenes. He's not a legit grassroots. Thank God, because actually he'd have even more power, to be honest with you. And they've got some of this people on the right and some of these people that, and I'm not being a sympathizer to this, but there are some legit, grievances to this mob that he represents. I'm not even going to call its name. Just like the Palestinians, they have real grievances. Not to say that justifies putting a bomb on your stomach and blowing up a bus, but it's like legit, it's people in the world, even though they may not be like me or not share my same beliefs and values, but they have like legit grievances or legit things that have been done that's wrong. And if he was grassroots and independent, not part of the beast system, he would really have legit more power than this. And he wouldn't be pumping technocracy and Elon Musk, by the way. That was just absurd. the absurd, and that man Elon Musk is a welfare queen too. I hope you all know that, all you people that say that he's so smart and he's got billions of dollars. He is the government. These are the government. It's one movement. It's not. It's no place where one begins and one ends. They are one movement. They are one. It's one entity, for all intents and purposes. From the point of view of me, a person on the ground, they might as well be the same thing. SpaceX, Tesla, the drive for electric automobiles, the drive for AI technology. There's a beast behind all this. It's not this particular man, even though he fits that role. He's rich and got resources and a business. I'm not trying to minimize it. But at the same time, even at the higher echelons, these people are here today, gone tomorrow. He could drop dead tonight. Is somebody going to take his place? The movement for EV, the movement for SpaceX, for whatever these technologies, whatever they got coming, the movement into Third World War. We're going to have a big war with the Eastern world, with China. I don't know if it's going to be a proxy war or direct. I believe it's going to be on U.S. soil, and it's about to be set off real soon. Get ready. I'm really telling truth. I'm spitting truth. I might get things not 100%, like maybe I'm inaccurate with some facts. We can look at facts and do fact checks. But the whole thing that I'm telling, the overall truth of it, about something hidden, something running everything, about them being together, is the truth. It's God's truth. And we're the pawns. We're the ones that's going to get the hit, get the deaths, get the hurt, the people, not the leadership for the most part. Now, they might try to pull something crazy, because they did try to take a hit out on Trump twice. So they might do something crazy, knowing these people, to start civil unrest. And I'm talking about real civil unrest, gunfire in the streets and militia. But I'm not wishing for that. I don't think anybody that's sane is. We want the best. We want people to do good and thrive in their communities. We want to not have war. We want peace. I think the average person wants peace and wants to live in peace. Oh, and that USAID bit, that's truth mixed with lies. They did do more harm, and it is a lot of corruption in that, and it's evil, and it needed to be dismantled. But at the same time, it's going to hurt Americans more, like the farmers that have those contracts that send that food to these different third world countries and different places that actually have rich soil and should be making their own food. The way that resources, and I know that I'm talking out my head, that the world doesn't work like this. I'm talking like kumbaya, woo woo, and it's not even real. But if, let's say that humans were decent, and that they could do things not just by money motivation, but just for the better of humanity. The way of aid is education, is learning how to take care of your soil and do advanced agriculture in these environments where they send food to. It's almost absurd. It's like sending rice, and I'm not trying to be racist, or I'm in God's name. I'm just using it because it's the absurdity of it. I'm just using the example of rice, but you could use grain or any example. It's like sending rice to a rice paddy in Asia. Like, you're sending rice to help feed the people, and they produce rice. They're experts in rice cultivation. They have the perfect land for rice. Why would you be sending it? It's the same thing with the U.S. agriculture. Why would you be sending aid to Africa, food, when they got the most arable soil, the most rich soil on earth, that you could grow crops and have commercial farming to feed the whole earth? Why would you send fish to Africa when they got the best fisheries in the world? Why would you send lithium or uranium or these precious metals that they mine Africa for when they have it there? Why not send education? Why not end corruption? A good way to end corruption is getting rid of this USAID. This is what has kept Africa down for insufficient. Sometimes I know that this is an evil way to put it, but it works for all of us, including myself. Sometimes the best way is to have a hungry stomach and a broke wallet, and that's how you can learn to work and know how to behave and do things right. And that can get rid of corruption and all the ills in society, by a hungry stomach and a broke wallet, and have to learn how to make it. And have somebody help teach too. This is something that's good that this cult did. And they were probably coming out of this anyway. I think they're moving toward the new colonial power, being China is going to be the one that's going to be giving aid to, it didn't come through. That's going to be the one that's going to be giving aid to Africa in exchange for access So that was something that they had in the plans anyway. It's a really good, and I don't like to pump him. I'm not going to pump him. I was going to say it's a really good YouTube video about Africa aid and the aid that comes from the U.S. to Africa. It's also aid to Israel and aid to other countries too, and they don't need it. They can make it on their own. They don't need you. We need it here. We need to feed the people here and give jobs and stuff here, or sell things, export things and sell them. Have it be money to be made or trade. Money at the end of the day is exchanging goods back and forth. The money itself isn't anything. That's another thing. Money's about to disappear. We're about to go into a digital currency. I'm not sure which one it will be, but it's not going to be the U.S. dollar. I don't know if you all paid attention to the penny disappearing, that Trump is going to get rid of the penny. Well, all of money is going to disappear. Physical currency, to my knowledge. But this is where we're headed. This is the way of the world. And another thing is 2026 will be the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. And that's going to bring, and that's, most empires end in the 250, 300 mark. I forget the Russian Empire when it ended, the Romanov dynasty. I want to say it's 300 years, but don't get me to quote. And I know it was a long time, and we're about to end too. It's about to be something, if not already. It may have already happened to my knowledge. But I just wanted to make a quick video. I'll get back to crime. This is about justice too, because there's injustice in the world because we're being ruled by people that aren't showing their face. Another look, the people all made it out of that crash. We talked about the oligarch. We talked about Elon, the Heil Hitler, Musk. And that's all for today, everybody. Stay safe. I wish you all well. Think about that USAID. Google it and see if I'm not right. That USAID, that was something good they got rid of, but they didn't do it the right way. They didn't have the people that's going to suffer is the U.S. American farmers that had contracts to sell their grain. They got this contracts that were supposed to be honored by the U.S. government that's not going to be honored, and they have people to pay, workers, and they didn't do all that. They wouldn't have agreed to all that if they weren't going to get paid. That's not fair. But as far as sending aid to places that's got plenty of land and soil, which they should have 200-300 years ago learned how to work, and that there's all this modern technology, they should have been in all that. But the Western powers wanted to keep those places poor and destitute and stupid for a reason. And the people in those places are corrupt, and they fed into what was already. I don't want to. It's not one that's the cause of the other. It's an entity taking advantage of the stupidity in the environment and reaping and sowing off of that generation after generation. The Western nations didn't make it evil. They didn't make the corruption in Africa. They didn't make the things the way they are, but they fostered it and allowed it to fester and get bigger and bigger and worse as time goes on. They didn't do anything to improve it. Not to say that that's their job. I don't think we can expect something wicked to make things right for us. That's why I don't believe in authority. That's why I don't believe authority in any form is trustworthy. Because you can't trust something evil to make things right for you. And that's what you're doing when you want to trust the government, even if it's telling you what you want to hear. A lot of times they tell us things we want to hear, but it's a lie. It's deceit. It's misleading. It's propaganda. Yeah, that's where we at. But it was something good with the USA for them to get rid of that, and hopefully it never comes back. I don't believe in it. We need to learn how to make it. All of us on Earth. We need to learn how to make it in our environment. Yes, sir. Have a good day, everybody. Peace.